At this time, it's our featured guests. We have two this month, so we're very excited. Joining us from the Arizona Senate today, please welcome District 25 Senator Bob Worsley and District 18 Senator Sean Bowie. Come on up, Bob and Sean. Come on, what is that? Is that a Bowie song? Oh, hey, Bob, good to have you here. We were going to play a little, David Bowie. Any relation?
Oh yeah, no relation. No.
No relation, Sean and David. Okay.
No.
Well, welcome to Mesa Morning Live, Bob.
You.
It's good to have you back. It's been years.
Oh, wow.
A couple years.
Yeah.
And Sean, I believe this is your first visit here. Is it everything you thought it would be and more?
Everything I thought of and more. Yes.
Okay. That's why you're here, Sean. We appreciate that. Tell us what's going on. Bob, I'll let you run with it. Tell us what you're up to and anything we need to know.
Well, relative to Mesa, working very hard on the mayor's new idea to create an innovation district downtown. And with all of the autonomous vehicle activity, we think it's a really unique opportunity for Mesa to try to be the epicenter of all this activity. And so we're looking to make downtown's innovation district. Hopefully we'll get ASU at some point, and we hope to create like a Carnegie Mellon Robotic Institute kind of center in downtown Mesa, and have a lot of the autonomous vehicle people come with their engineers and kind of daylight the innovation that's happening in this autonomous space now. So we're hoping that becomes Mesa's kind of thing downtown.
Well, that's all. Now, I know Arizona's kind of taken the lead on autonomous vehicles. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I'm chairman of transportation, and we've tried to make an environment here in Arizona where we're not passing a bunch of stupid laws to slow this down and stop it.
Wait a minute. What are you doing in government? That's unheard of. Come on.
So Sean and I are very much in favor of letting these guys come and test. And Arizona's always been a place where we've trained pilots and we've had test tracks. So we're gonna be the center of the world, we hope, in pioneering how this autonomous vehicle, air and ground, is going to play out in the future.
Wow, that's amazing. I heard somebody say the other day that kids that are born today will never have a driver's license or have a car. What do you think of that? Is that possible? How are you gonna threaten the kids to take away the car?
Well, I was born in the 50s during the Jetsons cartoons, and I always wondered my whole life what happened. You know, that was supposed to happen.
Exactly.
And I think we're gonna finally see it in the next 20 years. We're gonna see a lot more Jetson kind of stuff as computers get smaller and sensors get really cheap. I think you're gonna see all this bundled together, and we're gonna see some amazing technology.
Well, Senator Bowie, I know this is your first term. What's it been like? What can you share with us?
Well, it's been a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. I think I'm one of the few at the Capitol who really does enjoy the process of policy, and really looking forward to going back. In about a month or so is when we go back into session. So I have a policy background, so that's what I enjoy. I enjoy getting into the weeds and really working on bipartisan policies that really help Mesa and that helps our state, particularly education. I come from higher education, worked at ASU for a number of years before getting elected. So I really want to focus on growing our economy and investing in higher education. Mesa Community College is in my district. We're one of the few states in the country that doesn't fund our community colleges at all, unfortunately. So I really want to take a lead on that this next session and try to get them more support and really enhance all the great work that MCC is doing here in Mesa.
Yeah. I probably should have led off with this. Tell us your geographical areas that you represent.
Sure. I represent most of Mesa. My district is only Mesa. And so it's really kind of the north and the north side of the town, and then going all the way over to Red Mountain from the 101 Riverview all the way over to Red Mountain area.
Okay.
And then LD 816, which is David Farnsworth, he goes from Power Road east and around Gateway Airport. And Sean, your area is?
Yeah, I represent 4 cities. I have a little tiny bit of Mesa, Southwest Mesa, the Dobson Ranch area, basically Fiesta Mall and everything southwest of that. And also I have parts of Tempe, Chandler, and the Ahwatukee area of Phoenix.
Okay, great. What's on the horizon? What's immediate?
Well, I brought
His
a
iPad.
I brought a list.
All right. Is there going to be a test on this? Or?
No.
Okay, good.
I think that there's going to be some work this year on recidivism. We have way too many people going to prison and then coming out and going right back.
Are you talking about in the government or outside the government?
There's
Come on. I had to. I didn't want to do that, Bob. I had to.
the rate it's going, the number of lawmakers that are resigning and going to jail, or maybe, is growing rapidly. I've never seen it this quick.
It's good.
4 this week, I think.
There's a turnstile, actually.
Yeah. So we hope they don't go back to Congress.
Yeah, there
No.
you go.
So we're worried about, there's really cool things happening. If you can believe it, we used to not help people coming out of prison. We would give them their clothes and send them on their way at the end of their term. And now we're starting programs and funding programs to get parole officers engaged with these folks 90 days before they leave and ask simple questions like, do you have a place to live?
Yeah.
Do you have a job lined up? What are you planning to do? Those kinds of things. Can you imagine? We spend over $1 billion a year in the state, and we've never done just that simple courtesy to people who have done their time and are coming out, and because they have a felony on their record, it's going to be really tough to get a job and to make a living. So I'm very happy that we're starting to turn our attention to stopping the recidivism where they come out, they get bummed out, they can't get a job, they do something wrong, and they're back in prison.
Yep.
So we need to stop that. The other thing I think that's going to happen is that there's going to be an opioid push. The opioid epidemic will take 800 Arizona lives this year.
Wow.
800. I think that's close to how many people die on the highways. And so what are we going to do as a country from people that get back surgery, knee surgery, they get on Percocet or Oxycontin, and then it just is easy to stay on, and after a short period of time, you're addicted. Yeah. And just great people, good friends of mine, have died from being addicted with back pain that they couldn't endure using these drugs and then couldn't get off. So that's going to be something I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see a lot of sexual harassment. We're going to vet out of the legislature people who are habitual sexual harassers, not only in Washington, but here in the state. I think you're going to see some water debate this year about the future of Arizona's water. There's a big power struggle going on relative to water. Then there's other small things like school choice that's going to be a hot issue this year because of Prop 304 after passing Senate Bill 1431 that allowed ESAs. A lot of people in the public school space feel like money's being taken out of education funding for that purpose. So that's on the ballot at this point. So those are the kinds of things I think we're going to see this year debated in the Senate, at least.
Sean, do you have anything to add to that?
Bob covered a lot of it. I'll second the opioid crisis. That's something that the governor has been very proactive about. We really have a bipartisan coalition that's working on that, and I think you'll see some really substantive policy steps to address that, because like Bob said, a lot of people are losing their lives. Fire departments around the state, it's really taking up a lot of their resources. So I think there's some consensus to address that. Water is going to be another big one. We have to really get serious about long-term water planning in our state. If you've driven through Hoover Dam and seen Lake Mead, the water keeps receding. So that's going to be an important issue, and education as well. In my opinion, we're not doing enough to invest in education at all levels. And the teacher turnover that we're seeing, we rank 49th in the country in per pupil funding for K-12. So we absolutely have to do more to really work in a bipartisan way to find a way forward so we can invest in our schools and help our teachers. So I think those will be the big topics this year.
And you guys are working together on some projects, aren't you?
Sean and I see the world, believe it or not, different parties, but he and I tend to be the guys on both sides of the aisle that if there's a need to go across aisles, we're some of the first guys that work together, have a great relationship. I have great respect for Sean. The other thing I think we'll see this year is some discussion about transportation, funding. The area here in the valleys had plenty of money. We built our freeways with a 1/4-cent sales tax here in the county, but the rest of the state has no funding. And our cars are getting more mileage, and so the gas tax is declining. It's not going up at all, it's declining. And I think that we're gonna see the electrification of the auto fleet. Almost every car dealer, every car manufacturer is heading toward electric and autonomous. And so we know we have a bad model, and that means we're gonna have potholes outside of Maricopa County, really bad roads. So I think we're gonna start to address that this year in this session as well. We're gonna talk about it at least.
You know, our roads here are, if you never leave the valley, you don't realize how good our roads are. But when you go somewhere else, it's amazing. Even Tucson is like, I drove by a pothole. I saw a smart car at the bottom of a pothole. I think
Tucson has a bunch of them.
Yeah, it's really bad, and our roads here are really good. Do you think we'll ever see toll roads in Arizona? Please say no.
Well,
I never have the right amount of change with me, or
Yeah. Utah's doing an interesting thing with the HOV lanes up there. They're saying if you want to get in the HOV lane, you can pay, and you just have a little box behind your mirror, flip the switch on, jump over in the HOV lane, and there's a little bit of money that comes in to build roads if someone with no other people in the car want to use that HOV lane in the morning. So it's an interesting idea, but this state is very anti-toll roads. It'll be tough to, unless you build a brand new one. But if it's an existing road, I think most people feel like our taxpayers already paid for this once. Why do we have to pay to use it now again? So I think that's gonna be hard to do.
I don't know if this falls under anything you're responsible for, but are we getting a handle on these wrong way drivers? There's technology going on there, right?
Go ahead, Sean, I'll fill in.
Yeah, I think it's something we are taking a look at. The governor's been pretty proactive about this and trying to use technology, and this is kind of Bob's purview as well, is trying to use technology to stop those drivers before they're able to impact others. So I think it is something that we're going to be looking at.
And they've just started implementing cameras, and I think they're on to 12 or 13 different ramps where there's been a lot of confusion. I don't know about you guys, but have you ever got on the Red Mountain Freeway, the 202 North from Power Road? The on-ramp and the off-ramp are right there together, and your natural inclination, if you're completely together, is to pull onto the off-ramp. And so that's a bad model there, and I guess that's around the valley in a couple of places, and if you've had a few drinks, it's really hard, I guess, to figure out which way to go.
And you're texting, and you're doing your hair, and yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Who knows?
People are crazy.
So the cameras are now spotting cars, and they're alerting the billboards, the information things on the freeway, and the police that someone just came on an off-ramp.
Wow.
And so that's good. Very excited about that. Then I've actually started a little company. We're trying to develop the technology. I'll just share it here because no one's ever heard this before. But we're talking about sliming cars. So we have a little invention we patented that if you keep driving after the camera tells you to stop and the lights are flashing, before you get on the freeway, we're talking about deluging your car with a slime. So you can't see. Your windows
Where does that come from?
We're gonna come up with a great solution, and your windshield wipers can't take it off your window. And so you have to pull over. You like that?
That's one way to do it, yeah.
I'm gonna have to try that. No, that is crazy. Well, good for you, that's a great idea.
We're trying to come up with a way to keep those cars off the road.
Well, that'll do it. You'll think, what kind of bug did I just hit?
A big slime bug.
Well, now you're an idea guy.
Yeah.
Now we know you from your days when you were the creator of the SkyMall.
Yes.
So, and then the time came and went.
Yep, 25 years.
20, really? Was it in the? Wow.
25 years. So it was just a crazy idea on an airplane coming from Seattle to Phoenix in 1989 in September. And we started the business in January, and we had 90-some% market share the rest of the time.
Wow, that's awesome. So now that's come and gone.
It's come and gone.
And there'll never be another SkyMall kind of thing, will there?
There is a SkyMall.com that
Okay.
bought the name, and they use it just online, but it's not on the aircraft. I think today on the aircraft with GoGo and other Wi-Fi technologies, there's no need to have extra paper there. You can go anywhere you want online.
Yeah, exactly. So now what are you up to besides the slime idea? You're also got something else going on. What's up in Bob's world? I'm going to start following you more.
Well, we're acquiring downtown properties in Mesa. Monday we close our 9th building, and we're bringing great restaurants to downtown Mesa.
Really?
I know this is Mesa here, and some people live in Gilbert. But we've been shamed for too long with downtown Gilbert showing us up. So we're going to make downtown Mesa more cool than downtown Gilbert.
It's been thrown down right here, folks. You just heard it. All the folks watching at home on Channel 11 are going to follow you up on that. You have any recommendations? I'm not a Mesa resident. I don't live in Gilbert. Where should I eat in Mesa? You got any cool new restaurants?
Give us a year.
Okay.
And we'll give you a long list.
That's awesome. Well, good for you. Well, that does a lot of things. Not only keeps people, they don't have to drive so far, but it brings a lot of revenue to a city this size of Mesa. And you need a well-rounded revenue base, right?
Yeah. We want folks to come down there and sit on the sidewalk and watch all these autonomous vehicles and drones and
Slime on them, yeah.
slime on them if they go the wrong way.
That happens on the way home.
Yeah.
Wow, well, good for you. That's awesome. And Sean, give us a little quick back. We don't know much about you. Were you ever a SkyMall customer?
I remember reading through the SkyMall
You remember reading through it?
a lot on the plane. So I'm the only freshman in the Senate, so I'm new to the Capitol. So I'm not one of those career politicians that you'll sometimes see. But I worked mainly in higher education.
Where are you from?
Sun Devil. Here in Chandler and Ahwatukee area.
Okay.
So proud Sun Devil and very focused on higher education, and I've seen a lot of the great work that ASU has done. We're the #1 most innovative university in the country, 3 years in a row. Go Devils. And taking those lessons and that experience and applying it in the Senate and really advocating pretty strongly for an investment there, especially at great schools like MCC.
That's great. So if you could create a perfect storm of great things happening for not only Mesa, but the state of Arizona, what would you like to see happen?
Well, I would love to see Phoenix, Arizona, or Mesa, Arizona, the Phoenix area, named with Singapore and with Dubai and Barcelona, Spain, as the most innovative smart city in the world. And people travel here to see how we do so many cool things. Garbage trucks that drive autonomously, garbage cans that come, the sensors tell you if your garbage is full, it drives it to the curb, the automated garbage truck. See? Every
husband.
Man knows what I'm talking about. I had to do it this morning at 5 o'clock. People come here to see what the future looks like.
And you know what, we're such a new city, the Valley is.
Yeah,
I mean, the slate is pretty clean. I mean,
do that.
There's no way to retrofit some old cities like, San Francisco was brought up earlier today. I mean, that's just, geographically, that's tough to do, but here it's doable.
Yep.
So this isn't just some pie in the sky idea. You see this happening.
A month ago in Lisbon, Portugal.
I was just there a month ago.
Were you?
Yeah, I really was.
There you go. So Waymo announced in Lisbon, Portugal, that Phoenix, Arizona was the first place in the world where drivers and safety engineers were going to be removed from the front of the vehicle, and only passengers would be riding in a vehicle on the roads. First time ever in the world, and it was done here in Phoenix first, and you'll see it a lot here. So we want to play off of that and keep being mentioned as the city and the area that pioneers this technology.
Go ahead, Sean. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think there's a lot of opportunity here. Arizona is a great place to live. It's a great place to do business. The weather is nice. This morning it's a little cold, but usually it's...
We're so soft.
Right.
We're
It's freezing
so soft.
outside.
Brr.
I think there's a lot of opportunity here, and I think what's happening in the self-driving car sector with Waymo and Uber, and we're really looked at as a model not just around the country, but around the world. And I think there's a few things we can do, particularly around just investing in education again. That's really the last piece that can draw in companies like Amazon and others who want to come here, but also want to know that they have a workforce that's going to be trained and educated for those jobs in this 21st century economy. Yeah.
All right, now here's something. I don't know if you've thought of this. Can a fully autonomous driverless vehicle still drive if it's slimed?
No, because the cameras, there are 8 cameras on my car. I drive autonomously 90% of the time on the road, have for a year, and my car would stop if I slimed it because the 8 cameras could not see.
Wait, your car now?
It's autonomous. It's out in the parking lot.
What is it? What are you driving it?
Tesla X.
Oh, yeah.
And I get in the HOV lane, I set it on self-drive mode, and it drives me right to the Capitol.
I tried that, and mine, evidently, it's got to be set up that way.
Yeah, it does.
Because mine just didn't do it.
It kind of does this.
Yeah. Wow, well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you've kind of
I
thought
believe it. It works.
That's great. Now, let me ask you this. Do you still have to wash your autonomous car?
I do.
Sean, do you have a vehicle?
I have a vehicle, not a Tesla. One of these days.
Well, you never sold a magazine for a gazillion dollars.
That's true.
Full of unique junk.
Well, the reason I ask is as a thank you for stopping by and being our special guest, our last special guest of the year, we would like to give you each from one of our greatest sponsors and fellow Mesa members, Cobblestone Auto Spa.
Great.
They're all over the valley. Matter of fact, I just drove by like 3 new cobblestones that are being built. So no matter where you live, you're going to have one close. There's a $100 detail card.
Wow.
Get your car detailed.
Thank
They'll
you.
clean all eight cameras. That might be an upcharge. I don't even know how that
Clean all the
works.
slime out of there. Right?
Yeah. And that's his thank you from Cobblestone. We got a couple of, you know what? We got maybe time for a question or two. Does anybody have a question? Yes, sir. And who's going to say no to this guy?
When are you moving back to Gilbert? Correct, amazing. Great.
We'd love to have, because I've never seen one, we'd love to have an autonomous car in our MLK parade. That would be awesome for the kids to just wonder, is he driving it or whatever. So I'm going to get your card and give you mine.
Okay.
That is how business is done right there,
Right.
folks. That's right.
I think you might see Waymo Martin Luther King.
That's awesome.
Give you a cowboy hat to wear. STEM, yes.
See, the STEM, yes. See, science, technology. Hey, tell them STEM, for that one day, STEM stands for slime. Technology.
you're going with this.
No. Anybody else have a question for Sean or Bob? Yes, sir. Yeah, we got a mic coming your way there, sir.
Who are the big players in the autonomous cars, and how many of them are you going to have operate here locally in a major fashion?
I'll just start with, you've got Waymo and Uber here. You've got Lucent that wants to build a big factory, and they'll be autonomous in Casa Grande, so they'll be testing here. Most of the other auto manufacturers, Lyft and others, with GM has their, I think in your district, GM has a IT innovation center where they're doing things. Intel just acquired for $15 billion 3 months ago, Mobileye, and they have cars. I've been over to their facility, and they have 5 or 6 cars they've built, and they'll be on the roads soon, testing here. I've also met with the Alliance Group, which represents all auto manufacturers, Ford, GM, everyone. And they say that all have autonomous vehicles within the next 3 to 4 years, and they will be testing here. So I think anyone that's anyone will be in Phoenix, Arizona testing their autonomous vehicles.
I can't wait till I can have an autonomous car that drives itself and see if my wife still tells it where to go and how to get there.
Mansplaining.
Let's erase that from the broadcast. Well, if Sean, you have anything you'd like to add on our way out?
No, just
You could say the last words of 2017.
no pressure. Well, thank you very much for having us. We're both very blessed to represent Mesa in the state legislature, and we're very much looking forward to get back to work in January to not only pass good bills that move our state forward, but also hopefully stop some bad ones as well. So,
And Bob,
You do that
anything
well.
Yeah, great. And I'd like to just say something as an observer. It's great to see two people from different parties be able to sit next to each other. I didn't see any kind of elbowing. I didn't see anybody smacking the other one. And what a pleasant little change from what we kind of see in here coming out of Washington. So,
Yeah, we're hoping that the fever breaks in Washington soon.
yeah, exactly.
And
Maybe
people can be nice to each other.
Yeah, what a concept that would be.
Yeah.
Well, once again, how about a nice round of applause for Mr. Bob Worsley and Sean Bowie. Thank you very much, guys.